Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Chicago PD treats Hailey Upton's intelligence replacement better than Tracy Spiridakos' character. Midway through the year, Chicago PD Season 12 is already treating Hailey Upton's intelligence replacement better than it did Tracy Spiridakos' detective. Joining the NBC and Wolf Entertainment franchise on the heels of Sophia Bush's exit as Erin Lindsay in Chicago PD, she immediately became an important part of Hank Voight's core team. That said, the last couple of years before her ultimate decision to leave the Windy City was harrowing, to say the least. Almost all members of intelligence have experienced some kind of trauma, but Upton's stretch of tragedies was not only heartbreaking, but it's also frustrating. Arguably the most infuriating part of Upton's arc in Chicago PD was her failed marriage with Jay Halstead. Starting as professional partners, the pair eventually fell in love and got married in secret. That said, due to Jesse Lee Soffer's disappointing departure in Chicago PD Season 10, the police procedural left Upton alone, lonely, and confused. Wanting a fresh start, she opted to leave Chicago altogether. This created a void in Voight's team, which forced them to finally bring in a new character as Upton's replacement in Toya Turner's Kiana Cook. Cook started out as a patrol officer under Trudy Platt in Chicago PD Season 12. Briefly, it seemed like the one Chicago procedural was going to resurrect that aspect of its storytelling, but it became evident that it was only a matter of time before Cook was brought in upstairs, especially after the harrowing murder of Martell in the Chicago PD Season 12 premiere. Wolf Entertainment didn't waste time making her mark in intelligence, and in Friends and Family, the show delves into her background properly with the introduction of her father and mother. As it turns out, Cook's lineage is a little bit more complicated and interesting than everything that Chicago PD has done thus far. She is the product of a one-time thing between her parents, who come from very different social classes. Her dad, William Cook, is middle class, while her mom, Patricia Dixon, is from an affluent family. Cook clearly has a complicated relationship with her maternal side, something that Chicago PD is expected to tackle moving forward, especially since her grandfather supposedly wants to be an alderman. Cook's family story is an ongoing narrative in Chicago PD Season 12, and it's likely to be part of a bigger storyline down the road. This is a different approach to Upton's backstory in the show. Over time, certain details about her personal life were revealed, but the majority of it was via trauma-induced flashbacks, or through her sharing painful memories while working on a case. It was never a focal point in Chicago PD, which is particularly disappointing when one considers her special history with Platt. Unlike Chicago Fire, which has made it a point to explore its characters' backstories, its law enforcement counterpart has largely focused on their jobs. Any kind of personal narrative is mostly tied to the relationships within intelligence, which includes Adam Ruzek and Kim Burgess' romance. Other times, they just so happen to be at the center of a case. Based on what's revealed about her past, Upton's narrative had the best potential to be an overarching narrative, as it could relate to Platt's own backstory. Unfortunately, this wasn't utilized. Cook's backstory is unique in Chicago PD, not just because of how the show is telling it, but also because this is the first time that someone from intelligence may actually have a pull in Chicago politics. The procedural has yet to introduce his grandfather, but between what's revealed about his mom and his aspirations to be an alderman, it's safe to say that he has some kind of influence in the city. This adds to Chicago PD reviving Hank playing politics with Deputy Chief Charlie Reed. Intelligence is not new to going up against bigger adversaries, be it a criminal enterprise or a corrupt member of a governing body. However, Cook having an in with the upper class in Chicago poses new interesting storylines that Chicago PD hasn't done before, if that is the direction that they are going. As the season goes on, however, NBC and Wolf Entertainment hopefully take advantage of this situation, and not waste it again, just like Upton's family narrative. The departure of Tracy Spiridakos from Chicago PD has left fans with mixed emotions. As Detective Hailey Upton, Spiridakos brought an intensity and dedication to the intelligence unit that was hard to match. Her sharp instincts, emotional depth, and relentless pursuit of justice made her a key player in solving complex cases alongside Sergeant Hank Voight and her partner, Jay Halstead, However, as news circulates about the arrival of a new character to fill Upton's shoes, many viewers are already noting a stark contrast in how the show treats this incoming replacement compared to the way Upton, and by extension, Spiridakos, was handled during her tenure. From the moment Upton was introduced in Season 4, it was clear she had the potential to become a powerhouse in intelligence. Coming from robbery-homicide, Upton showcased her tenacity and intelligence right away, particularly when she stood her ground against Voight. But her storyline often seemed secondary to other characters, even as she grew more entrenched in the unit. Despite being a skilled detective with a compelling backstory involving childhood trauma and a strong moral compass, Upton frequently played second fiddle to the narratives centered around Voight, Halstead, and even new additions like Dante Torres. In contrast, the introduction of Upton's replacement appears to be receiving more narrative weight and careful attention. Early spoilers suggest that the new character will arrive with a fully developed backstory, immediate integration into the team, and perhaps even a prominent introductory arc. This calculated rollout contrasts sharply with Upton's more abrupt debut, which, while impactful, lacked the same level of storytelling investment. Fans are left wondering why the series didn't afford the same care to Spiridakos' character when she first arrived. One of the most striking disparities lies in how the emotional toll of working in intelligence is portrayed. Upton struggles with PTSD, guilt over shooting a suspect in cold blood at Voight's command, and the emotional fallout from Halstead's departure were often glossed over. Storylines that could have delved deeper into her psyche were cut short or resolved too quickly. For instance, her increasing dependence on work to avoid confronting her emotions after Halstead's decision to leave for Bolivia was a compelling arc left largely unexplored. Now, however, with the new detective stepping into Upton's role, there's already a promise of nuanced character development. Showrunners have hinted that this addition will bring fresh dynamics to the team and shake up established relationships. Promotional material teases more personal scenes, emotional conflicts, and a detailed backstory that underscores the pressures of working in law enforcement. It's a level of narrative investment that fans of Upton wish they could have seen more consistently. Another key point of contention for fans is the romantic subplot. Upton's relationship with Jay Halstead was both a highlight and a source of frustration. While Upstead had undeniable chemistry and a gripping emotional arc, their storyline often felt rushed or interrupted by external factors. When Halstead departed, Upton was left adrift, and her emotional journey afterward was given minimal screen time. Viewers watched as Upton buried herself in work with little closure. In contrast, speculation suggests that the new character might benefit from a more deliberate and consistent romantic arc, possibly with an existing team member, giving the audience a chance to invest more deeply. The handling of professional dynamics is another area where the disparity becomes evident. Upton frequently found herself at odds with Voight due to her unwavering sense of right and wrong. Their dynamic had layers of tension and respect, yet the show often used these interactions as isolated moments rather than part of a sustained narrative arc. For the newcomer, there are indications that their relationship with Voight will be a focal point from the start, with ongoing power struggles and philosophical clashes expected to be more thoroughly explored.